Welcome back to the channel, guys. It is me, 8744, and today, guys, we're going to do our 2025-2026 predictions, guys. We're going to be predicting top 7 leagues, guys. I'm going to give you guys my winners of each of the leagues. We'll also discuss about European spots, the relegation spots, all the good stuff. So if you like this kind of stuff, let me know. Let me know your predictions as well as we do our predictions. Also, just to let you guys know, we're going to be doing a little things differently this time around this season. I'm going to be actually doing power rankings at the end of each month. We're going to have a live stream where you guys are going to come on, give your power rankings. Teams have done well, which teams have been fraud watched and everything. We'll kind of just do that way. I feel like it'll be more interactive, more fun kind of way, and we do like a tier list kind of way and something like that, which I think will be more fun to do. Everything. So I feel like that'll be more fun rather than we discuss about what they did that month. I feel like that'll be more cemented and it'll be more interactive. So we're going to do that at the end of each month, guys. So it will not be every week, and we're not going to have any more weekly or weekly recap streams. We'll just do it at the end of the month, and that's how we're going to think. At the end of each month, schedule a live stream that day. Anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So let's start with the first league we should go out here. It is the Portuguese league. I'm just going to predict the winner for this one. We're not going to go into the details of like the other team, all that good stuff. So my winner of the Portuguese league going to be Benfica. This time around, I think Benfica is going to do it. And let me explain myself. Well, let's go look at the other teams, right? We got Benfica, we got Porto, and Sporting. For me, I don't think Sporting will do it, especially after seeing that Gokares has left. I think Sporting pretty much are done, in my opinion. And for Porto, I feel like there's too much instability. There's way too much chaos going on in the club, and they just had a really bad season last season. Now, they did sign Luke de Jong, which I think could be a good player for them. The issue is Luke de Jong is past it. Very old in age, and I don't know if he's going to be right. And for Benfica, I just feel like Benfica is just the most settled. You got Pavel there, who's been a bang goal scorer, and I just feel like Benfica are just the most experienced of the three. I feel like Benfica is going to do this. I will say this though, I do think Porto will actually come closer to the title race than Sporting. I do feel like Sporting will have fall off this season after having their big strike leave, of course. But I do feel like it's going to be probably a 2.5 race. I think Sporting will probably fall off in the middle. So there you have it. That is my Portuguese league predictions. Let's go ahead and move on over the Eredivise. So Eredivise, guys, the Eredivise is very interesting. We have obviously Ajax is coming through. We got Feyenoord. We got PSV. But this time around, guys, I think Ajax will actually do it. They were so close last season, guys. They were literally so close to winning the league. But then, as we all know, they had an epic, and this time around, I feel like they're going to do it. I feel like they're going to do it back in the Champions League, which I think is massive for Ajax. And I just look at the other teams. PSV are looking good. Peter Bosz is obviously a good coach, but I just feel like PSV are just way too defensive, naive. And I just think looking at Feyenoord, Robbie Van Persie, I just don't think he's really that guy to lead the board. I don't think he's that guy. So Ajax is pretty much the only option. So I'm going to go Ajax to win this league. It's going to be an interesting one, guys. I think this will be a very close one, but I have a feeling Ajax will just sneak through. But guys, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not confident this one can go. Feyenoord can definitely do it. PSV can do it. And yeah, but I will say it's going to be one of the 3 teams, though. Anyways, now that we're done with the first 2 leagues, we're going to go ahead and move on over. The next league we got here is Ligue 1, the McDonald's League. And I'm just going to quickly skim through the relegation. But guys, so I got Le Havre going down, I got Angers going down, and the FC Lorient going down. So, like I said, I feel like I'm not very too sure about these teams. I'll be honest with you, but I just feel like they're going to go down. We'll see though how many I get right, but yeah, because relegation is always very difficult to the newly promoted teams staying up. So I am going to go with those teams. Going down. But obviously, Lorient will go through the relegation. Now we go into the European spots. 6th place I have is Lille. Obviously, they lost Jonathan David. They finally lose him, and I think that's going to really detrify their chances this season. And I feel like with the big loss to him, I don't think they're as well as they did. So I'm sorry to say, I don't think we. But also lost Chevalier as well to PSG. I think Lille are. They may not even be in the European spots, guys. I'm being kind of generous and putting them in the spots, but to be honest, they may not make it. They got Lyon. Lyon obviously lost their big player, Ryan Cherky, which is a massive, massive loss. But I still think Lyon will be fine. I still think they'll get enough European. They'll probably be able to finish a European spot. I do feel as though that it's going to be tough, right? For the guys, Nice, I think Nice are very well balanced. I think they're a very solid team. They didn't really have a good season last season. I think this time around they'll bounce back and do well. Third, I have is Marseille. I think Marseille will still do well. You got Zerbi there as the coach, and they're still a very well coached team. Yeah. And the second, guys, I have Monaco. Monaco have been looking incredible. They signed Ansu Fati. They signed Paul Pogba. Monaco are looking really good. And I think they can compete for the title. I think they have what it takes to compete for the title. And I could see them, like, if there is a team other than that team to win the title, I think Monaco is probably the best shout. But unfortunately, guys, I have PSG first. PSG will do it. Yes, they have not spent a lot this transfer window. They have been kind of very limited. But to be fair, can you blame them? They're the best team in the world. So they don't really need to reinforce their team that much. Their team is already strong as it is. So, I think for PSG, as I said, going to win the league. So there you have it, man. That is my league on predictions. Let me know what you guys think. Go to the Bundesliga, guys. Bundesliga. Last place I have is Heidenheim. I think Heidenheim will go down season. They haven't been great. They kind of barely survived last season, and I feel like this time around they'll go. FC St. Pauli. I believe they're the newly promoted team. I think they're going to go down this time. And Bochum. Bochum will finally go down. This has been a team that's been somehow surviving the last couple of seasons, but I think this is the time they're going to finally go down, guys. They'll go down to the relegation. Well, they're going to go to relegation playoffs, of course. Not directly relegated, but survive just by the skin. And maybe get relegated. Sixth, I have is Freiburg. Freiburg looking great. Usual, they're a very well coached team. And they're always a team that always nearly does it. They're like that nearly team, in my opinion. And guys, this is going to probably be my first controversial prediction, but I'm going to do it right here, guys. I have Bayer Leverkusen. I just don't trust Erik ten Hag. He's the new coach of Leverkusen. Leverkusen lost a lot of big players. Lost, obviously, Florian Wirtz. They lost Frimpong as well. And I just feel like the Leverkusen team is just falling apart. They also lost their center back, um, Bayern Jonathan Tah. And I just feel like Leverkusen, those are like three important players for them. And I feel like with this loss, Leverkusen actually going to miss out on champions. Seems crazy to say, guys, but I just fourth, I have is Frankfurt. Frankfurt, I'm kind of putting them in the top four, just about. Honestly, it's kind of difficult to say, but I feel like the loss I could take hurt them. But I still think Frankfurt's a very good team, and I still think they'll do well. And I don't think they've lost too many players. I have them above. Third, I have is Dortmund. Dortmund, of course, we know how good attacking they are, but defensively they're just horrible as well. Obviously, we know Dortmund did an incredible turnaround to get Champions League. They were disastrous midway through, but they managed to scrape through and get Champions League to end, which is incredible. I do think Dortmund will still get Champions League. And second is RB Leipzig. I think RB Leipzig will have a great season this season with no European football. Yes, they did lose their big striker, of course, Sesko, Manchester United. But I still feel like RB Leipzig with no European football will be able to be better in the league. And I think they'll be able to push the team for the title, but ultimately fail. And of course, Bayern is going to, as usual, they signed Luis Diaz, of course, weeks ago in the transfer window. So Bayern looking great as well. Obviously, we know they have bigger pursuits. Let's move on over to Serie A, guys, which, in my opinion, is going to be the most fun league to watch. I think this will be the most exciting league, most entertaining league, and this is the league that we're going to get some drama, guys. Let's be real, guys. Last season, Serie A was the best league. You had the relegation be decided in the final match day. You had European spots be decided in the final match day. You even had the winner be decided in the final match day. No other league in the top five leagues had that. And I feel like Serie A will continue to do that again this season. And in 20th place, that was Pisa. They have never, I don't think they played in Serie A for quite some time, and I feel like they're going to go down. Experience. 19th, Cagliari. I feel like they struggled last season. I think they'll go down this time. At 18th is Lecce. I think Lecce. As we move to the European spots, we got 6th is Fiorentina. I think Fiorentina will still hover around that European spots. They're still around that table. They're still obviously great. Obviously, you still have that player, striker. I forgot his name. What's that guy's name? The name comes. I forget. It blanks me for some reason. Oh, Moise Kean. Moise Kean. Yeah, you have Moise Kean on fire. Obviously, I think Fiorentina will still do very well, and I think could push for a could push for a higher spot. But yeah, I think they'll miss out. If it does Roma, I think Roma will do well. Obviously, they got Gasperini is now their coach, and I think Roma is very good. We saw how good Roma were last season. How nearly the team almost made top four. And I feel like they can all get top four. I think there is a big shout for them to get top four, but I do feel like they're going to fall just the final hurdle again. But who knows how these teams are doing? There's a possibility. Fourth I have is Juventus. Juventus, man, I'll be honest with you, I've not been convinced with. They did sign Jonathan David, though, which I think is a massive, massive reinforcement in the striker position. As they're trying to ship Vlahovic out the club, everything. So I do think Juventus will do well, and I think they could potentially get the chance. I will give them the edge to the Champions League spot. But even though I'm giving the edge, don't sleep on Roma. And I think Roma could definitely push them. And I'm not very confident of this pick. But I feel like that Jonathan David sign is just massive, which is why I have them in fourth place. Honestly, guys, I'm not confident of this. Third, I have is Inter. Yes, Inter. They have not been. They obviously got the new coach now, who's kind of a rookie in charge, and the Inter team is still looking good. I still think Inter is looking fine. They have obviously signed some players. Not really any standout players that come to mind. But yeah, I do feel like Inter will kind of like a rebuild this season. I don't think Inter will be as good as they were in the last couple of seasons. I feel like this season will just be kind of like a back down to reality and kind of just top four and just see where we go from there. To reinforce their squad as much as they probably should after that horrible defeat. 5-0. Second, I have is Napoli. I think Napoli, for me, they've looked great. Obviously, you signed KDB, which is a fantastic signing in itself. Yeah, Napoli looking really strong. I've been really impressed with the transfer window they've had. But something tells me, guys, the fact that Napoli getting European football, with them getting the Champions League with Antonio Conte, and we know how things go in the second season, something tells me that things are going to fall apart. And I feel like Napoli collapsed the season, and which is why I'm going to go with a surprise one here, guys. This could either age horribly or age brilliantly. I'm going to take the gamble. I'm saying Milan's going to win the league. And let me explain my reasoning for this. Milan have no European football. Milan have only one game per week, and they made some quality signs. They got Luka Modric on a free, which I think is a fantastic. Got Estupiñán as well, which is amazing. Got rid of Theo Hernandez, who, in my opinion, needed to go after that disastrous Champions League game he did. Feyenoord. And I feel like Milan, they have reinforced. And the fact they have no European football is a massive, massive opportunity. And I feel like for Milan, this is it for them. You got Allegri as well, who criticize as you will. Guy is a great league manager. He's a defensive coach as well that can get results. And I do feel like Milan can't do this, guys. This is a very risky prediction, guys. And I am going to probably regret this so badly because you guys know my predictions, how I am with predictions. But I'm going to take the gamble and I take the risk, and I'm going to say Milan wins the league, guys. I'm going to watch this age so badly, guys. Watch the end of the season. But hey, guys, if this age brilliantly, guys, oh, you guys know I'll be shameless. I'm going to celebrate this crazy if I get this correct. But as I said, guys, this is the toughest league to call. Any of these three teams can win. In my opinion, Milan can win. Napoli can win. Even Inter, I think, could win as well. I don't count Juventus. I don't think Juventus have any chance. All due respect. But I do feel like one of these three teams will win the league. And yeah, guys, I'm so excited to see how this travels. And who knows? I may get this one very wrong. But that's the point, guys. Just for fun of it. Anyways, let's move on over to La Liga, guys. La Liga, guys. Coming in last place is Espanyol. I think Espanyol will go down this season. They lost their best goalkeeper. They lost their goalkeeper, Juan Garcia, who, in my opinion, was one of the best goalkeepers in La Liga last season. The guy was incredible, and in my opinion, was kind of the main reason why they survived. And I feel like without him, they're going to go down this season, in my opinion. And then I got Real Avadi. Unfortunately, I think they'll go down. They haven't really played in La Liga for quite so many years, and I feel like they'll go down. Elche, I just feel like they're here just to make. Or I think Elche will go. I do think Levante will barely survive, guys. Levante barely survive. I hope they do, man. Hope they do. Another place up is Valencia. We saw how good Valencia were last season. They did an incredible turnaround when they're in the brink of relegation. All the way to finishing 10th is incredible. And I feel like Valencia, if they can continue the good streak, I think they can manage to get into a European spot this season. How well they did last season at the back end of it. So I think Valencia will do it. I think Real Betis will still do well. Yes, they lost Anthony, which is a massive, massive loss. But I still think Real Betis is a very great team. You got Isco that's still there doing his thing. And I feel like Real Betis can still give trouble to the top teams. We saw how good they were against Barcelona and Real Madrid last season. So yeah, the fifth is Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad had a disastrous last season. And I feel like this time around, with no European football, I think Real Sociedad can do it. And I actually am going to predict La Liga to get that additional spot again. I do think La Liga will get the additional spot, and that means Real Sociedad will get back into the Champions League. So I actually think Real Sociedad will do it. Fourth I have is Bilbao. I think Bilbao will do it. Even though they're going to have Champions League this season, which could hamper them. I still feel like Bilbao is a very well coached team. They obviously still have their players Nico Williams is still there and Ernesto Valverde that's still there as the coach, and I feel that's a massive reason why they're going to. Well, third place I have is Atletico Madrid. Yes, Atletico Madrid have made incredible signings over this last summer, but I'll be honest with you guys, summer, I don't trust them to finish the top two. It's just Atletico Madrid. They're just there as third best team. They're not going to compete. Title, in my opinion, at this time, and I feel like they're just going to be there, be the best of the rest. Sorry. Until they prove me otherwise, I'm not putting any trust in them, especially after they did last season. They had a great first half of the season. Second half, they completely. So I feel like Atletico Madrid will do it once again. They'll probably do very well the first half of the season. Second half, they'll probably. Okay. Second place I have is Real Madrid. Yes, Real Madrid has strengthened this summer. They've obviously brought in Trent Alexander-Arnold. They brought in Huijsen this summer as well. But I think the big issue for Real Madrid is still that depth. I still feel like their lack of center back depth is very apparent. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't really rate their center backs that highly. To be honest with you guys, because I think Rudiger is not that good anymore. Eder Militão's injury prone. Alaba is washed, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Huijsen's pretty much the only really good center back, in my opinion. And Tchouameni, he can't play it well as center back. So I do feel like Real Madrid's defense is very leaky, as well as the fact that there's also this big dilemma going on between Vini and Mbappe. I don't know if the two are really compatible together. There's so many issues Real Madrid have to address. Is why there's too much instability. Whereas Barca, for me, everything's looking great. Now, at the time of recording this video, guys, earlier today, Iñigo Martinez just announced he's leaving Barcelona, which is a massive, massive shock. So it's going to really be sad. Obviously, he was one of our best players last season, in my opinion. But I still think we're fine in the center back position. We still have Garcia that's still there. We still have Koundé. We still have Araujo that's still there. We still have Christensen that's still there that could do the job. And I do feel like Barca's attack is just better. We just got Rashford on loan, everything. We also got Juan Garcia as goalkeeper as well. And as well as the fact that Gavi's coming back from an ACL injury as well. So I do feel like Barca, I just feel like with their attack is just too lethal. Their attack is way too lethal. You got Yamal there, that's still there. Rafinha's still doing his thing. Barca looking too good. I do believe Barca will do back to back this season. And I just feel like Barca they've strengthened in areas they needed to. The only thing that could address is that center back depth, as I said. Iñigo Martinez leaving, but other than that, though, I think Barca is fine for the most. And then moving over to the Premier League, guys, I'm going to go with all the three promoted teams to go down. Yes, guys, I don't trust any of the promoted teams. Yes, I know Sunderland did sign Daka, which is a great signing indeed, but I just feel as though the newly promoted teams I don't think any of the promoted teams will stay up. I think all the teams will go down. I was really tempted to pick Wolves. Wolves was one team I was really tempted to pick, guys, because they were not good last season. But I do feel like Wolves will barely survive. Barely survive, but man, I'm not confident. We'll see, man. We'll see. Another place I was Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur, I think will do well this season. Obviously, they got the new coach, Thomas Frank, and then obviously signed Kudus as well. They are losing Son, though, who, in my opinion, is one of the best players they ever had in their club, and probably one of the best Asian players. But I just feel like for Tottenham, as I said, I feel like they're going to do well, and I feel like he's a good coach, but I don't think they can push into that Champions League, Europa League spots. Especially knowing they have Champions League football this season. I do feel like Spurs will not be as good, but I do think they'll be a lot better than last season. A lot better than last season. As Brighton, I think Brighton have been a fantastic transfer, and I'm really, really impressed with what Brighton's been doing. And remember, they have no European football. There's no European football for them, and I feel like that they could take advantage of the teams like Villa and Newcastle having European football, and I think that is something that Brighton can take over and eventually displace them top six. I have is Manchester United. I think Manchester United have had a great transfer window. I've been really impressed with what they've been doing. They signed Mbambu, they signed Cunha, they now signed Sesko. They have now three strikers. We saw how bad United's attack was last season. I'm sorry, Højlund was just garbage. I'm sorry, he was just trash. So United have made attacker signs, which I think is fantastic. And Ruben Amorim now has finally got a transfer window on his belt. And I feel like with no European football for Manchester United, I do think Manchester United will actually be able to crack into the Champions League spots and actually be able to finish fifth. And I actually predict Premier League to get that additional spot, Champions League. So I think Manchester United will actually be back in the Champions League now. So I think Manchester United will finish fifth. Chelsea will finish fourth. I like this Chelsea team. I think this Chelsea team is very underrated, and I think people need to respect this Chelsea team. But I feel like something just tells me that Chelsea will be more of a team, a cup competition. I don't think this is a team that's really for the league. I think they're more built for the cup competitions, and that's why I don't think Chelsea will do as well in the Premier League. Even though I do think they can compete for the title, and I do think they have what it takes to win the title, I feel like it's a bit too early, And I feel like Chelsea will actually do well in other countries, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, even the Champions League. I think Chelsea could do something in the Champions League. Could do something. But regardless to say, I do think Chelsea will do well. Cole Palmer and everything. I think they'll finish fourth. Third, Arsenal. I think Arsenal will be able to get third. They signed Gokares, striker than they needed. But I just play for Arsenal, man. They're just the nearly team. They just always fail at the final stumble. And as much as Gokares is a great striker, he's obviously great. He's obviously better than Havertz and better than Jesus, of course. I don't think he's as good as people make him out to be. I don't think he's a world class striker per se. I have my reservations, my doubts in him, and I don't feel like he's as good as people make him out to be. So I feel like the only way Arsenal could win this league title is Gokares goes incredible. If he has an incredible season, oh yeah, then Arsenal will definitely be able to win the title. But if Gokares doesn't have an incredible season, I'm sorry to say, I don't think Arsenal will be able to win the title. I think Arsenal needs him to be at his absolute best to win the title. So yeah, I don't think they'll do it. Second place I have is Manchester City. They have addressed the signs they needed to. They obviously signed Ryan Cherky. They've obviously signed Reinders as well, which is a great signing, and obviously Roger will be coming back from ACL. But I'm sorry to say, the big issue I have with Manchester City is that defense. Defense is way too sketchy at the back, and that's the reason why I don't have Manchester City win the league title. Because I do think Manchester City will have a much better season than last season, but I just feel like the lack of the center back signing is what's going to really hurt. I just feel like they need to address that, and maybe Roger coming back from ACL can definitely help the defense, but I still feel like they need to get more center backs in, and I'm not really a big fan of Ederson. Sorry to say. First place I have is Liverpool. Liverpool, man. This transfer if they had has been a great time. Florian Wirtz, and Frame, Veal. I mean, wow. Incredible signs. Incredible signs. Only thing that's really lacking for Liverpool is obviously the loss of Jota, which, by the way, rest in peace for Jota. And obviously, center back sign because obviously Kwanzaa left for, so I think he joined Leverkusen. So I do feel like Liverpool maybe need to address that center back depth. Other than that, though, I mean, they still have Salah at the club. They still have VVD that's still there. Yes, they did lose Trent Alexander-Arnold, which is a big loss, but they have Connor Bradley to do it. So I do feel like Liverpool can do back-to-back. Yeah, guys, so there you have it, man. Those are my predictions for the European season, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. And if you made it all the way to this end of this video, guys, shout out to you guys. Remember, guys, to like and subscribe as well. Yeah, man. Consider becoming a member of the channel to get access to members' videos, streams. And yeah, I'll see you guys later, man. Peace out.